As I've shared my story over the years, the number one response always cracks me up. They look at me and they tilt their head sideways a little bit and they go, "But you look so normal." And it just cracks me up because trauma, the experiences that we have been given, that we have gone through in life, it can actually be our strength. And that is such a paradox that most people don't really understand, that trauma, the bad things that have happened, the adversity that we've experienced, can actually be our greatest asset. Those experiences can radically change our life. And so that, in a good way, in a positive way. And that is what we're going to be talking about today on Whores Do It Best, a business podcast. Hi, y'all. My name is Jess Rich, and this is the final episode 12 of me sharing my journey from being a conservative evangelical Christian at the forefront of the anti-trafficking movement to really having this in-depth wake-up call and going, wow, no, what I'm doing isn't right. Sex work really is work. And we need to fight for the rights of sex workers because you really can't tell the difference as to why a person is in the industry. And they're there for all different reasons. And yet I came forward with my story and so many assumptions. And as I carried on my journey, I learned to eliminate those assumptions and really go deeper and see people as people. And so this has been such a fun journey, sharing that with you for these last 12 episodes. If you have been following along, I encourage you, please give me some digital currency. It really doesn't cost anything to share this with a friend, to mention it to someone else, because that's how it truly spreads. So thank you for that. And here we go. I'm not sure what it is that caused me from my youngest self to be curious about why people do things. I can remember back to some of my earliest memories of abuse. And instead of being angry or upset or hurt and confused, for some reason in my young child brain, it was just why? Why does this happen? And why do people behave like this? And why is this happening? What is really going on in the world? And throughout my journey of being involved in gangs and then trafficked and then in the sex industry, like all these different elements. And I'm going to keep on going then into having kids and being married. Like all of these events have taught me and shaped me because I have allowed myself to remain curious about why things happen. And from that heart of curiosity, it allows us to see trauma in a different light. Because the reality is that every single person has experienced trauma. We all have pain. We've all gone through something that causes immense grief, heartache, body problems, like body image. Just being raised in today's culture gives us trauma. And the quicker we can see that the trauma exists, turn the phone off, the quicker we can understand that it does change us. And it can change us for the worse or it can change us for the better, depending on what we want to do, how we want to be, who we want to become. One of the quotes that has haunted me in a lot of ways, and it's my quote, which is why I suppose it haunted me, is as long as a person is breathing, they have the opportunity to heal. And because of that statement that I truly believe in every ounce of my being, because I was hopeless at one point. Lots of people wrote me off as hopeless, unreachable, always messed up, never going to be okay. Those were the things that the clinicians, the people, my community said about me. And it was pure rebellion that just said, no, I'm going to do it different. I'm going to find a way. And I started reading endless books about psychology and sociology and anthropology, really understanding culture, people, how the brain works, how we work, and comparing it to my own experiences. And as I did this, I realized that we as humans have so much more potential than what society has given us. Those traumatic experiences, when met with curiosity, can absolutely change us for the better, and those things can become our superpowers. Those experiences become our stories that we can share with the world to make this world a better place, because our stories, while might be wildly different, the feelings and emotions that we carried during those experiences, they're all the same. The feelings are the same. My grief might be more graphic than other people's grief, but the feeling of grief is the same. When I understood that this isn't like a pissing contest to who has the best, worst story, and really all of our stories are just simply unique. And when we're allowed to reclaim the stories and find our power in the situation and share our stories, it empowers other people. It brings life into the darkness that we felt alone, where we felt isolated, like no one would understand. In reality, damn near every person on the planet would understand if we could connect the feelings to the traumatic event and then learn to rewrite those stories in such a way that we can forgive ourselves and forgive others, but not for the purpose of being walked all over. I don't forgive any of my abusers because I want to have a relationship with them, or I want to or any reason other than I just want to be fucking free. I don't want to have that anger and bitterness stored inside of me. Forgiving anyone does not turn me into a doormat. It makes me stronger. It makes me able to share those stories. It makes me not scared and hiding. I don't want to have to hide because I experienced trauma. I want to speak my truth in the best honesty that I can so that my stories can inspire other people to share their stories, and together we can change the world. Now, the last couple weeks have been incredibly difficult for me. I am in the final stages of a divorce. I've been separated for 6 months. We have 5 kids together and have been married 18 years. And it has been one of the most heartbreaking times of my life. Because really, in the last few weeks, I discovered that my entire marriage has been built on lies. And that in itself is so incredibly traumatic. Here I am in the middle of starting and running a business that I just created out of the separation. Doing what I love, believing in me for the first time really ever. Doing something that I want to do, fulfilling the purpose that I know I'm meant for. When I got this news, my heart was shattered. I was devastated. While that might not be your story, you understand the feelings of heartbreak, the feelings of loss, the feelings of being just completely bamboozled. I had spent my entire life studying overt trauma and overt abuse, and I missed the covert. And I questioned who I was. I questioned my wisdom. I questioned my knowledge. I questioned my ability to function. And I went to bed for a freaking week. And while I was in bed, I cried, I journaled, I wrote. I processed that pain out. I worked through it. I felt it in my body. I felt the feelings. I went deep into me. And after 2 days of laying in bed doing that, I realized what I was really struggling with at that point was embarrassment. And when I chased the roots of embarrassment, I got to shame. I felt shame over my life and my story. And yet I know shame well. But sometimes we all need reminders. Even when we have tools, when new stuff comes up, we have to learn how to process through it and remember again how to do it. Because when you're in it, it's dark and it's deep. And I was like, who do I go to learn again about shame? And instantly I thought Brene Brown. And I went to all of her books on Audible and I was like, which one is the actual tools? And as I started to listen to Daring Greatly, I remembered all the things that I've already known and already done. But in the darkness, we need reminders. We need that reset to go deep so that we can continue to remain vulnerable and to speak our truths, because just because our life is working the way we want it to doesn't mean we're impervious to the pain and trauma that exists in the world. What my trauma has taught me is not how to not have trauma or pain, but how to handle it when it comes up. I am equipped and confident in my capabilities of processing through the pain and the feelings when it comes up, and then I come out the other side. And so I'm going to take a couple weeks off from recording the podcast. I currently have every intention of doing exactly what I planned. I just had a little hiccup in my giddy-up, and it happens to the best of us. I'm grateful you've joined me on this journey, and I just can't even imagine where it's going because I'm more excited about the future now than I've ever been. And that is a magnificent place to be. So y'all, I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you back in a couple weeks. Have a great day. Bye.